94.4 FM, Salford City Radio, the Friday Sports Show, the host Jimmy Petruzzi. We're very fortunate to show to have the world's best athletes, sports people, coaches, you name it, being on the show. We also have a segment for each of the most influential people in the field of psychology and related fields, give us their insights into psychology and other related fields. Today, a really fascinating guest is going to sort of touch on a topic that's probably affected us all. I know it's definitely affected me, that's for sure, and I'm sure plenty of other people have been affected as well. It's about sort of some ideas around healthy eating on a budget. And today's guest is Dr Jacquie Lavin, registered nutritionist, who's very kind of to come on board the show, give us some insights into her thoughts around eating on a healthier budget. Jacquie, welcome to the show. Great to have you on board.
Thank you. Nice to speak to you.
Fantastic. So, Jacquie, one thing that sort of probably affected most people to a certain degree is the living crisis. I mean, it's sort of, I suppose in many countries as well as the UK, it's not been an easy time. And sort of, what are your thoughts in terms of being able to eat healthily? It seems to me every week things are going up in the stores, and sometimes it's difficult to sort of think, okay, well, what can I actually buy to eat well, without sort of spending, too much money.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not just my thoughts. This is the thoughts that you say of the nation at the moment.
Yeah.
So this, we conducted some research, a survey of 2,000 UK adults, and 80% of them are saying they're currently concerned about rising food prices. Now, it's probably gone up in the last 2 days, that figure, because we've just seen all the inflation numbers, figures that have been coming out around, your basic foods going up even more. But then, scarily, half of adults in the UK are saying that they're now finding it harder. They're actually physically finding it harder to make healthy food choices because of this cost of living crisis. And around a third of people are actually saying they're now prioritising the cost of food over how healthy it is. So this is a real issue, because at the same time, they were telling us that they're not getting any support out anywhere. So, sort of the medical professionals, health professionals, the government, media, they're not finding any tips or information about how they can handle this problem at the moment.
Absolutely.
So this is a real worry, because we know that the cost of living crisis is affecting, people's budgets, but now that's moved into the food side of things. There's a real possibility that people aren't going to get healthy foods. It's going to start affecting their health. It can start affecting their ability to manage their weight. People were saying, they've gained weight. They think that's due to the cost of living crisis as well, because they're buying cheaper foods, they're comfort eating, less nutritious foods. So it is a real issue. But at the same time, the survey also polled people who were actually Slimming World group members who were currently, losing weight, they're eating healthy on a budget, and they come up with loads and loads of tips that they're sharing between each other that we can also share with you now.
Absolutely. It'd be interesting to sort of hear what and obviously everyone's sort of, everyone's on their own sort of journey type thing, and I suppose everyone's affected in different ways, so to speak. But yeah, if you could give us an insight in terms of, the thing is really the options in terms of, so if you go to a store, and I suppose it's a generalization, there's food there, but getting things like vegetables, and they seem to be going up all the time really, and sort of, what are some of the things people can do? What are some of the tips that you can sort of share for our listeners in terms of what they might be able to do anyway?
Yeah, a big thing is planning ahead. Preparing ahead, planning ahead, and it's worth that time and effort now, because what people are doing is that they're creating their lists, do their budgets, and they're sticking to it. Because we can all go in a store and you get tempted by all these other things. Well, don't stick to your list, stick to your budget. Sometimes online shopping can help you with that, because you might be able to get a nice cheap delivery slot, but it's not using your petrol or whatever to get there. But also, you've got your budget, you can see it adding up as you're putting things in your basket, and quite often it pops up with a cheaper option or something on a deal. So that's, it's not worth ruling out the online shopping. But in your local shop, it's about sticking to your list, thinking, okay, if I'm going to spend some money, say, on some like lean minced beef this week, I used to just cook a spaghetti bolognese with it. Now what can I do? Okay, so people are coming up with tips like, bulk that up with chopped up veg, which, as you say, the price is rising on the veg as well, but it's not as expensive as the meat. So beans and pulses are really good sources of protein as well as your meat, but they're quite often cheaper, lots of fibre in there, they're really bulking out the meal. So that portion of mince that you might have done to do one family meal could go to 2 or even 3 meals. You could make a chili with it. You could maybe put some in a lasagna, use some for a lunch or something. And Another key thing is using your leftovers wisely. So never throw them away. I'm sure there's something you can do with them. Find out different recipes. If you've managed to cook a Sunday roast and you've got some potatoes and some veg left over, I think our grandmothers used to do this bubble and squeeze. They did it for a reason, because they were on a budget.
Absolutely.
And I think one tip I will share as well, and I have to admit, hands up, I'm guilty of this in the past. You buy veg and you use the meal you're going to cook, and then the rest of it, you open your fridge up a week later and go, ooh, what's that mush at the bottom of my fridge? And it's turned into some sort of brown, soupy looking thing. Don't let it get to that stage. Cook it and use it. You stop that food waste, and especially veg. While you're cooking your meal, throw others into the pan, and then, or into the oven if your oven's on, and have roast veg, which you can then put in a little freezer bag. Put it in your freezer. You've got them ready made. You've not wasted it for another day. Or put it all in a pan and make it into a veg sauce to have with some pasta on another day. A nice, cheaper, budget-friendly meal, or make it as the base of a soup or something like that. So rather than it turn into soup in your fridge, get into proper soup in your pan. So be savvy with your shopping, be savvy with your foods and your leftovers, and you can save money that way.
And absolutely. And I suppose the other thing as well too, is not just the food price as well, Jackie, it's also like cooking it as well, like the appliances, the energy cost as well. Is there any sort of thoughts around that in terms of, like, for example, someone might, traditionally sort of cook things, but like the energy costs are sort of going higher too. Is that something sort of that you feel is affecting people too, like the energy cost as well in terms of like cooking the food?
Definitely, and that's something that people don't automatically think about, but it's a really key thing to mention. So yes, remember to say they've been getting like the energy ratings, certificates out from the appliances, going which is the best to cook with, and we're finding people are saying things like the microwave because it's quicker, and air fryers. Lots of people bought air fryers when they're really trendy. We'll get them out because they cook things really quickly. So your slow cookers as well, because they're kind of doing it slowly throughout the day and probably not using as much power. Another thing is, if you're using the oven, yes, it can cost quite a bit to cook something. So don't just cook one thing. Batch cook, get a few things in there at the same time. So, you were going to use that energy cost anyway. Get 3 or 4 meals from it. Throw some baked potatoes in there, and not just for one meal, do a few. We've got people saying, no, you can actually cook baked potatoes. Get them all in there.
Absolutely.
I started doing that. When you look at your potatoes thinking, oh, they're going to turn, I better use those or they're going to go off. And now traditionally they would have gone off and I'd put them in the compost. Now it's a case of they're okay today, get them in the oven, I will use them later in the week, and I've not wasted it. I've not wasted my money. So definitely like that. I mean, if you're using the hob, one tip I would say, if you're cooking your pasta or your rice, steam some veg over the top. Why let that heat energy just disappear around your kitchen? Use it for something else. So sort of multitasking in your kitchen is really good.
No, absolutely. And I suppose in terms of, say, like, is there anything specific, like have you got any sort of tips in terms of like what it's microwave? I mean, obviously, sort of some people suggest that maybe the food loses nutritional value in the microwave. Are there sort of, is it okay maybe to sort of like, blend some microwave food as well as obviously not just microwaving food, but is it okay to sort of like cook a proportion of your food in the microwave?
Yeah, if you say you've batch cooked and you've it's home cooked food, so you've got loads of nutrition in there, and then you're just reheating it in the microwave, that can be really quick, and it's going to give you some nutrients, and it's better than, say, I don't know, grabbing a takeaway convenience food that it's not quite as nutritious, but you knew what you put in it in the first place. It's absolutely fine. I mean, another tip you just reminded me as well is things like, you say that the veg and things that are getting more expensive. Nothing wrong with frozen veg or tin veg. And frozen veg, it's freezing a lot of those nutrients while they're still there, and then you're not wasting it because you can get out the portion that you need, quickly cook it. It's still got really good nutritional value in there.
Absolutely. And I suppose also looking at, I mean, like sometimes there are offers, and I mean, I like to make a smoothie, Jackie, every day, and I throw in all sorts of vegetables in there type thing. But I have noticed at times you can go to one store, like, without mentioning the store, but they had like broccoli special on that day. I think it was something like 20p for a broccoli thing. And I suppose there are opportunities also to look around as well, where there are offers out there as well in certain situations.
Definitely, look around and talk to other people. This is what some more group members saying. They've got 30 or 40 other people in their group saying, you know what, this is on offer in that store, that's on offer in that store. Use use your local community to find out what's on offer. A good tip that I've heard from people is that if you go shopping in the evening to like one of your bigger supermarkets, that's when they start putting everything on reduced price. So look out for those yellow labels, get them there and then. The wonky veg. Have you been down your wonky veg aisle to get
absolutely. Yeah. Definitely. The blueberries, absolutely.
And as you say, you get them then, and if you're not going to use it that day, you could quickly steam it, whatever, and then put it in your freezer, or just chop it up and put it in your freezer. So you've bought it while it was only 10p, 19p, or whatever.
Absolutely, yeah.
You've got it there at a bargain price to use on another day, while it's still got that good nutritional value as well.
Absolutely. No, it's been really, really interesting speaking to you, Jackie. Is there any sort of like website people can go to find out more about what you do, or is there any sort of? I know we've got a short time to cover a lot. Is there any? Can you point our listeners into any direction where they can learn more about what your work or?
Yeah, definitely. So the research findings and loads of tips and information you can find it on slimmingworld.co.uk, and also your local group as well. As I say, a massive resource out there to help you eat healthily on a budget.
Fantastic. Thanks for your time, Jackie. It was really interesting and informative. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was Dr Jacquie Lavin, registered nutritionist, who was very kind to join us on 94.5 FM Salford City Radio. Your host, Jimmy Petruzzi.